What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Millennial ManCave. Chef Tom, Jeff's here.
In the flesh.
You know what time it is?
It's time for something new.
I mean, it's podcast time. We know that for sure. But what are we touching on today?
Today is all about the draft that was the NFL and how, memorable it was that the Browns didn't fuck it up and the trades that happened. So, you gotta give them some credit, right?
Guys, as I mentioned on our Diamond Dynasty, Chef Tom and I are going to be bringing, of course, Madden for gaming and some NFL talk here. We are fans of multiple sports. We do a lot. That's what part of the Millennial Man Cave is. We discuss lots of things, and of course, the NFL is one of them. So, I don't know if you guys remember from previous videos. If you haven't seen them, I'm a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
And, I'm all about that Omaha lifestyle way back when.
Omaha!
You gotta give it up to Indy,
So, funny story about that is, quickly, before we start getting into this stuff, one of the games I actually went to go see in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yes.
Was the Steelers and Colts. Unfortunately, I did not have the luck of seeing Andrew Luck.
I see what you did there.
He was out with an injury.
How long did it take you to think of that one?
That was on the spot. It's pretty good. But, I didn't get that opportunity, but I did see, Matt Hasselbeck. Not a bad quarterback. He's on the back end of his career, but whatever.
Maybe when he was with Tennessee.
He was playing decent at the time for the Colts. And the Steelers, I think, dominated like a 45-7 win.
Hey, listen, okay?
It was awesome.
No secret, my Colts, the defense, problematic. We will address this when the time comes in this podcast.
Nonetheless, guys, it was fun. I'm enjoying going to Pittsburgh. I'm hoping to go back down this year. Packers, I'm hoping to make it out to that game end of November. But nonetheless, let's get into it, man. NFL draft, we're about, a week? Almost a week now?
Yeah, give or take. It was, yeah.
Last Friday.
Yeah.
Last Friday. So we're getting there. Almost a week away now. And, as a Steelers fan, what do you think? We start off in the AFC North?
Giver.
All right, let's get it started. So, of course, who's the first team you got to talk about? It's got to be the Cleveland Browns.
It's got to be the first overall.
The Cleveland Browns. So, coming into this draft, I think everybody's fear and their mother was, my God, what are the Browns going to do with this pick?
Well, for the longest time, there was all the speculation that they're going to take the quarterback because they were worried that Trubisky was going to be off the board by the time they drafted at 12.
Yeah.
And you know what? That showed to be the case. But, you look at what they did. They held out. Thankfully, Kizzer dropped to the second, and they were able to pick up what they are forecasting to be one of the strongest, purest arms.
I did hear that. I heard him along with a guy the Steelers drafted, I heard were probably two of the better raw talents.
Nice. I love that you're just throwing that in there.
Well, I'm going on the fact that they're not as polished, let's say, as some of the other names that went in the first round that, again, we'll discuss.
Yep.
But they are supposedly two of the harder working quarterbacks of the draft. They're both very quick learners. They're both really, really big on, learning as much as possible, being that sponge. And, they're projected to have success. So, before we get into that, it's about time that Cleveland realized you have to take the best player available. And for them in this situation, it's a need. They needed help.
Agreed.
On the defensive end side.
Yeah, they needed help on that front five or front four.
He's a playmaker. He's a playmaker.
He's a difference maker. Never mind a play.
He's a guy who's going to get your defense off the field. And that's what you want. Especially now, the quarterback question in Cleveland has been just, hey, is it Johnny Manziel? Was it Josh McCown?
I'm pretty sure this is the term that you guys use in saying it's a tire fire.
Oh, God, yes, it is. An absolute tire fire. And I think this is no hot take. I don't think this is a far stretch here. This is not Sally on Bay Street's Cooch. I'm talking here that I think the Cleveland Browns have made choices that are going to put them on a proper track that they haven't done in a while. And of course, as a Steelers fan, it's hard to say that because you enjoy playing the Browns because you're almost a guaranteed win every time.
It's a win.
You know it's a win, right? But I think it's about time that the fans in Cleveland who are diehards finally get something.
What's the pound hound, right?
Something to watch.
Or the
right?
pound.
It was nice to see they finally pulled a good trigger. I think Myles Garrett is going to be ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I think every dominant team, I think you need a playmaker or a face of the franchise on both the offense and defensive side.
What did Dwight Freeney do for the Indianapolis Colts?
Exactly.
At that defensive end position. When that defense was not good, they had Dwight Freeney.
Yeah. And then thankfully we had Robert Mathis up until last year, but...
And look what the Colts D did. They turned it around, man. They became one of the top 5 defenses in the league.
At the time of that era, yes.
But that was after they were only a strictly offensive team and strictly Dwight Freeney as a defense.
Yep.
So I think this is a huge, finally good choice for the Cleveland Browns. And it didn't stop there.
You know what? Kudos to them for actually trading back up into the first round. You know what? They got Peppers.
I heard
help the back end.
I've heard absolutely nothing but things about Jabril Peppers. They said, he's going to be NFL ready very quickly. Very quickly.
But I'm more ecstatic about, having David Njoku come through.
You know what? As a Steelers fan, I was pissed off because there was...
You guys need the help there. I'm sorry.
There was some fake news about Roethlisberger coming out and telling the owners, hey, I need another tight end.
Yeah.
Because since the whole of Heath Miller retiring...
Which is huge.
Who, God bless him, the guy was an absolute monster.
Yeah, don't undercut it. That was a big loss.
For blocking, for catching, he was a phenomenal gamer.
He was one of the best of his era.
So, no knocking Jesse James. I love Jesse James. But we went out and we got the tight end from the Chargers.
Yep.
Okay, Ladarius Green.
Yep.
Who ended up being a basket case on the IR the entire season.
It was a concussion the whole time.
My God. And even when he came back, you could tell he's not playing at full.
You know what, though? When that signing originally hit, that was huge.
It was absolutely huge.
He was phenomenal with the Chargers.
And the funny thing is, Polar Bear Steve's a Chargers fan.
I don't know, if he was here, he'd be ripping us a new one, probably.
Yeah, and I feel bad for him, because, whatever. But... when we signed Green, he's like, my God, I hate you guys. He's he's like our best, offensive tight end, probably one of the best catchers on the team.
Yep.
And the Steelers go and get him, and it just kicked us in the ass. And it's not that we're paying him cheap either.
No, he's up there.
He's on a good contract.
So then let's we talked about the Steelers. Let's go into the Steelers.
Well, let's not push away Cleveland yet. Let's look into consideration that they, like you said, Deshaunee Kaiser.
Kaiser's a big pickup, man.
This is going to be a big part of that. Look at the areas they addressed. They got two defensive playmakers right away. They brought in an amazing... They said he's one of the most athletic tight ends in this draft.
Yep.
And like I said, I was hoping the Steelers were going to get to him. Unfortunately, obviously, he didn't make it. And Deshaunee Kaiser. That, in the first round alone, sets Cleveland up for better success going forward.
They actually have difference makers that can make the team improve. You know what? For the first time in a long time, you can say the Browns actually stand to be a better team after the draft for the first time in a long time.
With guys who potentially make an immediate impact.
Exactly.
And because that was supposed to be Johnny Manziel. That was supposed to be a bunch of guys, but as we know it...
How far do you want to go? Brady Quinn? How far do you want to go?
Let's not even go Brady Quinn, man. I had high hopes for that guy. He was a tough one to watch fail because coming into the league, he was going to be a stud.
He was meant to. But
he had a phenomenal, university career. Came over,
all the time.
Couldn't adjust. Vince Young, another one. I was a big Vince Young fan. When I watched that Rose Bowl...
Oh, everyone remembers that Rose Bowl.
USC, Texas, Matt Leinart, Vince Young...
You even say Leinart in current day.
Reggie Bush, right?
Yeah, he's still good for...
But, he was supposed to be a superstar. And I think Bush became a good running back, didn't become a great running back.
Yeah, no, he's not in, elite company like Danium and Thomason.
No.
Or any of that jazz. Charles.
Yeah.
So, I get you.
Seeing those guys come along and kind of fail along the way, you feel disappointed because there's so much talent there. Even a guy like Drew Stanton, coming from Michigan State.
You think he's not hitting his potential?
No, I don't think he has.
That's tight.
He's still a backup. He's still a backup quarterback. You know what I mean? That guy was another one who's supposed to be a legitimate starter.
I guess, but when he gets to play, he does play. He does fare well.
He's okay.
His QB rating's decent.
But again, he's not a starter in the NFL, and that usually is, where you kind of put these guys in the sense of what's their career like. So did he become what he was supposed to be, a number one QB in the NFL? He didn't do it. That for me, we can go on about draft busts all day, but let's keep moving forward here. So, Cleveland, look at the rest of the way. They just, I don't know, man. I look at this, what they've done. All the picks they have here, they all address needs because the team needs to be flipped. Let's be honest.
Oh, God, yeah.
They have some playmakers on the defense. They have some guys on the offense who have some potential. Now with these new guys coming in, I think Cleveland turns it around. And I've seen high draft grades for them. So, kudos out to the Browns.
Agreed.
Steelers?
Steeltown.
Okay.
I'm going to let you start. I'm going to let you take the cake.
Can I just say we have a Watt?
I know, and I am envious of this.
We have a Watt.
Yep.
Now, Pittsburgh coming into this, we had a lot of areas of need. Defense was huge.
Oh, your defense is getting old.
On the contrary, we're young, but too young. A lot of guys who we drafted to become superstars have not made that push. Jarvis Jones is not a number one linebacker. Okay? We have a guy like Lawrence Timmons. He is getting old. So we do have a couple of them, but we're not in that situation like we were way back when we still had, like, James Ferrier, Joey Porter. The turnover was a little bit slow there because guys weren't really panning out.
The linebacker core is still not the youngest.
It is pretty young. Ryan Shazier is only like 25.
See, you know why? You know what's fucking with me is that I feel like this guy's been in the NFL for like 20 years already.
And see, it's not the case. Like, Ryan Shazier is becoming a captain on that defense.
No, he is. He's a great player to watch. Like, as a fan of football,
love him.
He's fun to watch.
Ohio State Buckeye.
So
he came on down. He runs the center of the defense, and now you toss in T.J. Watt with him there.
I just love that J.J. Watt came through. He's like, hey, you gotta tease my brother a little bit harder. You know what I mean? Like, haze him.
Guys, they play on Christmas, man.
Really?
They play on Christmas.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, Texans and Steelers on Christmas. Now, I've heard, from what I've read about TJ before the draft happened, so my hopes for Pittsburgh coming into this draft was address some areas on the D. It was very, very obvious this year that the D is getting better, but it's not the old Pittsburgh defense that grind them out, a running back never hits 100 yards. Wide receivers are kept under like 80 yards a game. They might have multiple receivers 80 yards, but they're not going to get the guys having like 150 yards against us. That was the Steelers defense. We were always ranked top 3 in both run and pass defense, and now we're not. Now we're an offensive team. We went total force, like full circle, from the time that Ben Roethlisberger touched the field as a rookie to the time now that he's like 14 years in the league. So, I think I was excited to see T.J. Watt's name come up when the Steelers came down to draft time, because linebacker is a need for us. Again, Jarvis Jones, not doing it. Ryan Shazier, good man. Yep. Now you put a T.J. Watt with him. You know what I mean?
But do you think out of the draft he's starting for you?
Absolutely.
You think? I say he's more of a rotational.
No.
I did my research on Watt because I was hoping, you know what, maybe the Colts would have grabbed him like second round. I didn't think, because it was a stretch from all I was reading about Watt. That was a stretch for him to be in the first round. So the fact that you think he's going to be a starter and impact player right away is a little, I think you got to temper your expectation a little bit.
But the thing with TJ Watt is he has a Watt mentality. I don't know if you've seen JJ Watt work out. I don't know if you've seen him train and prepare.
It's disgusting.
Exactly.
It makes me feel like less a human every time.
And when you look at his brother's no different. Everything they've said about it post-draft is that this kid is another type of guy where he's a learner, he works hard, he wants to be playing every day, and he wants to be a difference maker. So to me, a guy like that, even though he may not seem ready at the draft time, maybe he's a step behind people, training camp tells a lot.
Fair.
Let him get in there, let him get into the system. This is going to be a defense for him that's, we're going to attack you. We're coming hard, we're coming heavy. He fits that mold.
Listen, if he ends up being a 10th of JJ,
we're laughing.
You guys have an all-star still.
We're laughing.
You have a perennial Pro Bowler.
The good thing about TJ is, again, he's a linebacker who can do the multiple hats. He can drop into coverage, he can attack the quarterback, he's got some speed for a bigger guy, and he's got character. And that's what Pittsburgh defense is all about. Looking at our second pick, Juju Smith-Schuster.
This is my favorite thing, though, about this. And it's just based off the tweets that are happening.
I just love the Juju on that beat. That's all I'm saying. I might be busting out the dance right now. You guys will never know. But he's a big-time receiver.
Yep.
This guy, he may not be the quickest. His foot speed might be slow. But we have speed. We have guys, Antonio Brown's literally probably one of the fastest receivers in the league.
He is the filthiest receiver in the league. Quickly, I know we said, not touch on draft busts. I'm going to go another category here. Elite receivers. Do you take Odell Beckham Jr. or do you take... Now, I know you're partial to this.
No, but even if I take off the fact that I'm a Steelers fan, I'd still go Antonio Brown.
Really?
He is by far one of the best all-around receivers in the league. In every aspect of what he can do.
Okay. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I think... I don't know, not to go too much into it, but if you look what the guy can do for speed, he burns D-man. Like, Beckham has that height advantage. He's a taller receiver, so he's getting up and making those plays.
I would say Beckham's also a touch more athletic, but I think, if you had to juke one or the other, I think Brown can easily juke and get out of a lot more.
Brown typically leaves guys with broken ankles.
That's what I'm saying.
So, I guess it depends on what type of style offense you use. If you're a team who's constantly using bombs, tossing up in the end zone, which Eli Manning does a lot, maybe it makes sense to go that route. But I guess maybe the impartialness is coming out here. But the way the Steelers play, And even around the league, you hear that Antonio Brown is 1, if not 1B.
I'm not bowing
Best
it. Those are the 1-2.
It's an interesting one.
Those are the 1-2. That's maybe for another podcast.
Yeah, we can literally debate that. Guys, comment on this video. What do you think about it? If you're starting a franchise, are you taking Antonio Brown or Odell Beckham Jr. and why?
Yep.
And why?
Yep.
So, what's yours then, quickly, before we move on?
I love the swagger of Brown. I think he's a great character guy. I know he got some flack there for the whole, in the locker room business.
Yeah.
But I will back you on this. I will say Brown is the better, but by a hair. By a hair.
There's no losing on that one.
And you also, you judge it by rings. I'm sorry.
There's no losing.
No.
So, Juju Smith-Schuster, this is a pick that helps solidify extra help on that wide receiver issue. Because
Not that you guys need it.
No, well, let me back this up here for a bit. So again, as a Steelers fan who watches these guys night in, night out, Antonio Brown's always your number one guy. No questions asked.
Yep.
Martavis Bryant is having issues, apparently stopped doing drugs.
Yeah, staying in the NFL, apparently.
This is big.
Blows my mind.
Suspensions...
If I was paid fucking $500,000, I'd be, prim and proper.
Yeah.
This guy's getting paid...
Millions.
God knows how much.
Millions. So, I mean, he is coming back. He did get reinstated.
Yep.
Obviously, it's conditional based on his,
his follow-up, his whatever.
Yeah, how he goes forward. But he's potentially a guy who might fall out again. These players typically who have these issues off the field, it happens to come back. It's usually never a one-time deal. Right?
Sure.
So as a Steeler, GM, you got to look at this team and say, hey, we need an extra receiver in here in case we lose him again. Because Steelers felt it down the line.
Now, my question is, and then I know maybe I'm jumping the gun here, but why, if you're the GM of the Steelers, do you you have to get rid of Bryant after the tweet that he made saying oh no, this is not replacing my job. Watch out, Colts. You can't have that. You can't have that in the team.
I think there's going to be a definite talking to. If it's one thing I can say about the Steelers is that
there are no bullshit.
They
franchise.
don't take bullshit at all. They got rid of Santonio Holmes.
I know.
The guy who caught that fantastic touchdown pass against Arizona, clinched that game. Literally, he was probably one of the best receivers in the league at that point.
Yeah.
Again, another all-around receiver. He didn't have the height, but he was athletic. He had feet. His hands were just nifty as hell.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't think we've heard the end of that story. I get a feeling that, they're going to sit down Brian and say, listen, you just got reinstated.
Yeah.
We could have used you against the Patriots. Brian is a game-changing receiver.
He's got the talent, man.
He's a mix of the height. He's a mix of the speed, the hands. He's come a long way since he was a rookie.
He's almost like what Hayward Bay should have been.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So, with him going out, Hayward Bay needed to have a bigger role. Marcus Wheaton needed to have a bigger role. Wheaton never panned out to be a bigger role.
It surprises me because I did have higher expectations.
He never did it, though, right?
Yeah.
Now you look at Hayward Bay. He's okay. Every once in a while, he might catch a 30, 40-yard bomb, get some big gains.
He went from my team to yours.
But that's what he is, right?
Yep.
And he, came from Oakland as a failed pick.
Yep.
And Sammy Coates was that other guy. But another thing with Sammy Coates is he doesn't consistently catch the ball. Drop balls were a problem for him. It costed us a lot of big moments in our games. So
I just liked how deceivious he was. He was in and out, no problem. He ran his routes well.
He's not a bad route runner. He's got half-decent speed. He's a bigger, tougher receiver. And I think that's what they're bringing in here again in Juju Smith-Schuster.
Great pick. I'm a big fan of the pick.
The guy, he runs well. He's not fast, but he can get his route out. He fights guys for the ball. He's not an easy, I'm going to push him off. This receiver's done for the route.
Oh, no.
That's what Steelers needed.
Good pick.
That addresses a need. I don't need to go through this entire thing. I just want to touch on the next couple real quick. So Cameron Sutton, cornerback was also an issue for the Steelers. We had a lot of guys get pushed around by bigger receivers. We had a lot of guys who were just getting dummied, whether it was covering in the slot, whether it was covering out wide. Cameron Sutton is said to be one of the most NFL-ready corners coming out of this draft. We lost Senquez Golson, his name. I think we drafted him 2 years ago. 2 injuries in a row. The kid has never touched the field.
Oh.
Yeah. He was...
no wonder why you can't recall his name.
Senquez Golson, I believe it is. And Steelers fans, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't look at the roster every day. I apologize, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Another guy who's supposed to be NFL ready from the draft. He was supposed to be an immediate upgrade for us at corner. Again, never happened.
You can't blame them.
And I mean, when Ross Cockrell is trying to become our number one corner, that's a problem. Not to say he did bad. He had some great games, great shutdowns, but you really felt when the big-time receivers came out, he was getting burned. So, this is a great pick for us. If Golson gets healthy, if we got Sutton coming in, we already have
a brand new cornerback.
We have some players there ready who can play that, let's say, second or third corner.
You got a brand new secondary.
We're laughing. We're making things happen. James Conner, I want to touch on this guy just because cancer survivor, Pittsburgh native, went to the University of Pittsburgh.
He's a big running back.
He's a heart character guy. And
which is what Steelers are all about.
It is. And the Steelers missed a third down back last year.
Yep.
Because Le'Veon Bell is what he is. He's a star. He's elite.
He's a premier back.
He's the best of the best.
Yep.
D'Angelo Williams, phenomenal backup running back.
Yeah.
What happened after that? Fitzgerald Toussaint's not bad, but he's not your every...
There's a trial by committee almost.
Yeah, he can't be a backup. He can't be a third down back. You bring in James Conner, who's a big boy, little homage to the bus.
It's a rumble tumble.
Right? You're bringing him in that goal line. You don't force that issue of, having Bell potentially get injured again. You don't want D'Angelo going down. His foot had some injuries.
You don't want Roethlisberger taking that sneak.
Exactly. Right?
Because God knows that.
Easily a solid pick here to help out. And I want to say probably one of the sleepers of the draft. That's what I've heard, what I've read about the kid, Joshua Dobbs.
Does it hurt you to discuss this?
No.
The time has come?
No.
The time is near?
The time's not here, but you have to plan for the future.
Always.
Right? You don't want to be a step behind because God forbid Roethlisberger, we already talked retirement this year.
Yep.
The potential is there.
Yep.
If he steps off the field, you can't leave the keys to Landry Jones. You can't leave it to Zach Mettenberger, who's now released.
Did you see Andrew Jones?
Yeah, I got my payback for not seeing Andrew Luck. My next time going down to Pittsburgh to go see the Patriots, it's my dream to go see Brady vs. Roethlisberger, two surefire Hall of Famers.
God, yeah.
And I got Landry Jones instead. Now, I don't want to get too much into the game, but nonetheless, we held the Pats pretty well. Landry had a half-decent game in the beginning, and then it went downhill.
Yeah.
So, Le'Veon Bell made his plays. He was a big part of that offense during that time. That's why he's elite. But Joshua Dobbs potentially gives us the successor to Ben Roethlisberger.
You touched on it already. He's a guy that gets to the books. He wants to learn the game better, and he's going to put the work in to be that starting quarterback Steelers will need.
He's got an arm.
So
he's got power. The guy can toss one. He can bomb it. He's got a big stature. He's a big kid. He can still probably put on a little bit of weight. He's fast. He's mobile.
It'll be so weird to see that, though, coming under center.
Well, it goes back to Cordell Stewart. The Steelers had a similar type quarterback. Cordell wasn't as accurate, but he was mobile. He was a really bad Mike Vick. Right? Now, what Dobbs becomes, is he going to be an accurate passer? I guess we'll find out. But right now, as long as Ben Roethlisberger is still at the helm, as long as he can stay healthy, the Steelers are in good hands.
Yeah, you guys have a chance to make the playoffs and make some noise.
It's going to hurt me to ever potentially get another jersey.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be weird to see someone else line up at center.
Man, we've seen guys. We've seen guys come through here and there because Ben gets injured. He does. It happens.
Yeah.
He's a quarterback who doesn't like to, go down. He takes a hit. He makes a play.
Yeah, he doesn't shy away.
So we could see Joshua Dobbs under center this year. That's all I'm saying. I've heard it. I've read it. I believe it because I don't think they're going to keep going back to Landry Jones. His time is really on a very, very short leash. Very short leash. If Dobbs shows well in training camp, he may even be QB2 by then.
I wouldn't put that past the Steelers. I could see that happening.
So, with that being said, all it takes is Ben to go down, and he's at the helm. Last one I'm going to touch on for the Steelers, Brian Allen, another corner. Of course, like I said, it's an issue for us. They want to get in here, upgrade as best as they can. I heard he's going to be a half-decent corner in the league. He's got speed. I'm excited. Pittsburgh fans, Steeler Nation.
Well done.
Let's get this thing going. I think we drafted well. I think, guys are going to continue to get better. Some of these rookies we had last year, takes a little bit of time, a couple of years. You got to get the feel, the speed of the league, and what the defensive packages look like. Oh
These
yeah,
players coming in are in their early 20s.
Oh yeah.
So they're nowhere. They're growing.
But nonetheless, I'm excited, man. It's never a bad season when Ben Roethlisberger's still there, and the team is still on a nice little turnover of these newer kids coming in, and still having those solidified players down.
Oh, you got your killer bees.
Love it.
So dare we touch on your rivals of the Ravens? I'm only going to say, really, they might have some of the best secondary right now.
They still do have a great secondary. Offensively, I still don't believe in the Ravens.
I agree.
Ravens personally.
I agree.
Which is shocking because Joe Flacco at times has shown he could be an elite quarterback.
Well, he's got an arm like a god, man. That guy slings them.
And sometimes it just doesn't make sense. So, I look at what they did. It looks like, obviously, they're D-heavy. They're continuing to upgrade in an area that they're already good at. You know, they give a lot of teams issues defensively.
That's what they're known for. That's their bread and butter.
So, you know, I've heard nothing but good things about Marion Humphrey, Tyus Bowser. These are guys who can be game changers on a defense that's already good at what they do.
Exactly. They got pieces that are going to contribute immediately, or if not, be in rotation. So you know what? It's you're gonna have a couple of bruisers coming down Ben. Is all I'm gonna tell you.
This is the fun of the AFC North, though, man. This is what it is. I mean, with Cleveland finally getting better, this could be finally a 4-horse race. I mean, it had
maybe in a couple years.
I'm saying it's coming. It's coming because it used to be Ravens Steelers. Cincinnati was never that great of a team.
Cincinnati was always on the cusp in the past couple years.
Carson Palmer comes along, things start changing, they start drafting well, they start getting the right guys in there.
I'm still kind of a fan of Andy Dalton. I know that I might get some flack for that.
No, that's what I was saying now. Like, now it's officially a 3-horse race because Dalton's still good.
Yeah.
Dalton's come in, he's played well.
Beat the Bengals.
Well-educated guy. He's beat everybody.
Yeah.
But Cincinnati's always, let's go into them now. Cincinnati's issue, his Achilles heel, is always the playoffs.
I agree. But can we just say that their 1-2 receiver right now is just stupid?
Well, AJ Green is another...
You line up AJ Green with a pile of fucking potatoes, and you're still winning games.
Yeah.
They just added potentially the best wide receiver in the draft.
Yeah.
So watch out. They're going to fucking put up numbers.
John Ross?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to put up, touchdown upon touchdown. Dalton's going to be a top... he will probably throw, I'll say, in the top 5 touchdowns this year. With the weapons he has at his disposal right now.
I don't think it's a hot take. I don't think so. I think it's definitely possible. You give a quarterback who can be accurate like Dalton the right targets.
He's not the strongest arm.
No.
But he is accurate.
He's a smart quarterback. He's a Harvard graduate. The guy's a smart guy. He likes the game. He likes the knowledge side of it. He's not just let me go out there and play, coach. He studies hard. I respect Andy Dalton for that. You know, the guy works hard. You can always see against the Steelers, he's, reading the plays. I don't want to say it because this is a hot take. He's not Peyton Manning. But the way he reads the line and makes adjustments.
On the fly. You
see some of that. And, that's what great quarterbacks do. Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Andrew Luck.
You can even say Rodgers at times.
Of course, Aaron Rodgers. How can you forget? The big name quarterbacks consistently every year, that's what they do. They don't just step up. They don't just take the play from the offensive coordinator. You assess the situation,
It sounds like GMing all over.
That's what we do. You have to assess what the defense gives you. You never know, man.
No, yeah.
You come up to the line that's calling a run play, but guess what? If I'm seeing linebackers pull to the defensive line to hold that shuffle, guess what, man? I'm going to say, slot receiver, give me a post pattern. Go. Or, give me a bomb if it's a one corner. And I know if it's AB, Costin as a Steeler fan, if I see AB on a corner and I know he's going to burn him, guess what? I'm calling that play action. Especially when you got Le'Veon Bell who gets in people's heads, right? And that's what I feel like, Andy Dalton has gotten really good at. And he's not old. He's going to be here for a long time still for Cincinnati.
Yep.
So when you add John Ross, Joe Mixon, half-decent running back.
Controversial with the whole,
I know.
thing.
He's got some issues.
We'll see what happens there. Because if he's not getting on the field this year, I don't know if the Bengals stand by that. Although they are known to, work with players. Pac-Man.
That's for sure.
Right?
Yeah, and I mean, look, they go 2 defensive ends right after. Defense is definitely not a problem for them.
Well, they just tend to, get that depth, let them grow.
See, that's the thing with good teams. Just need a couple pieces,
yep.
just to make sure they stay at the level they're at.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
They add in another receiver in Josh Malone. Heard nothing but good things. You know what I mean? So I think Cincinnati, they did okay. They hit some key areas they wanted to get better at.
Let's face the facts, though. Let's call it on the north. But you got to give it to the Browns. Browns succeeded in the north.
As by far the best draft.
As the best draft.
Of course.
Obviously, when you have first overall, that helps.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can argue what the Browns did this year was wrong by any means. And I think everybody can agree that it's the first steps towards getting things right.
So, from north, I got to take it to my South boys now.
Well, now we have to go.
Yeah, you got to go.
We got to go now.
So,
AFC South. You want to start off with your Colts right away?
I don't even want to start off with my Colts right away. I want to start out with the idea that, you know what? Texas, they paid a ransom to get out from underneath Osweiler. They, in theory, traded a first and a second.
Would you not, though?
That contract was going to burn them. And that's why I'm a little pissed off, because they were buried with that. Because don't look, Texas has a decent defense. Yes, they lost Boyle.
They have one of the best defenses in the league.
Like, that is what was hurting us. And then, like, you threw, a guy that can't throw a fucking, ball if his life depended on it. That was our only like option.
It's Tim Tebow 2.0, man.
So like shut them down on the offense and potentially you put up a couple on the defense and you win a game. That was the hope. Now they actually brought a legitimate guy in Watson.
I think Watson is going to be... I think a lot of people are going to be pissed off they passed on him.
I agree 101%. I think we'll get to it, but I think Chicago really fucked up hard.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll leave that one for Chicago.
Like, we'll leave that for that one.
Yeah, we got some interesting conversations for Chicago.
That's all I really want to touch on Texas. I think they really got, as it stands right now, the best quarterback in the draft currently.
Ooh.
Who knows what will happen in career-wise?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm saying if they all stay healthy, out of the draft right now, I think Watson is the best. You look what he did in the championship games. Like,
he's a winner. He didn't lose a lot in college.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
Exactly.
And I mean... They bring in a linebacker in Zach Cunningham.
Well, they say he's going to be potentially groomed as the next captain.
Oof.
Coming down there. And you think, again, of the big names on that defensive field there. The fact that they're like kind of whispering about that, you got to have high hopes for this guy.
I don't think the Texans did bad by any means. They made the right moves. Like you said, getting out of that Osweiler contract.
I mean, they paid royally. They paid for it, but...
Nonetheless, when you have the means to do it...
I mean, they will... God love my Colts. It's really Houston's division to lose. But on that note, my Colts.
Let's scroll it down to the Colts, man.
Let me tell you how happy I am that we finally addressed our secondary. Because no more can we rely on Davis.
You know what, man? Like, you kind of feel that issue of like the Peyton Manning time again, where it's like they know their offense is good.
Yep.
You know you got an elite quarterback.
Yep.
Let me give you a little question mark here. Is Andrew Luck still the guy?
He is the guy for however long he wants to be the guy. My concern is the injuries.
That's the talk right now. I'm hearing a lot of.
Because that O-line was like bastardized when he first came into the league. Like you lost Saturday the same year that you lost Manning, really.
Yeah.
So the first coming drafts after that, after Luck was drafted, we refortified the O-line. We had to. We had to protect our franchise face.
Absolutely.
And, he is one of the best QB ratings year in, year out. He is one of the best, signal callers in the game right now also.
He's smart. He's athletic. He's all what you want in a quarterback.
He is the perfect piece to take over for Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is a surefire Hall of Famer. He is one of the best quarterbacks in his generation. To come into that shoe, you have no better answer than Andrew Luck coming in.
But do you fear the injuries?
I fear
injuries
for the significance of the injuries
That's my fear, because I love Andrew Luck. I love what he's done with the Colts. I'm not even as a Colts fan. I, as a football fan, was worried about that franchise. Because when you're leaving, when you got Peyton Manning, again, Hall of Famer,
yep.
A legend of the game, one of the best to ever play.
Yep. Omaha. When he leaves, what happens next? And when Andrew Luck, stepped in finally. Thank God. I'm just thanking God that we
didn't get RG3.
Completely different franchise right now. I might not be even a Colts fan anymore. But, anyways.
Hey, if you ever need somewhere to go, Steelers Nation always takes us on. Can you come down with us to Pittsburgh, man? Permanente brothers, have a Roethlisberger.
Maybe on a Real Talk
at
session.
Pepe's. Love it.
So, I hear you. And I'm concerned because, the injuries he had wasn't like jammed finger. It was internal organs.
Shoulder, organs,
so,
knees.
Anytime you talk organs,
it's become problematic.
Shoulders for quarterbacks.
I would know.
It is a
partially torn
deal.
rotator cuff, man. It's tough.
I do feel for him. I think we finally fortified the O-line, and now we're finally in the difference makers we need on defense to finally give us a chance to again compete in that division.
Well, I love Malik Hooker. He was one of the best safeties coming out of the draft.
I was so happy he dropped to us.
And I love Quincy Wilson. Another cornerback who's, if not going to be ready this year, he may get some of the extra packages. Maybe he gets in on your, special teams.
He'll definitely be on the special teams.
He's going to be good.
I definitely was thrilled to see, Hooker drop to us. That was a blessing from the gods. Because our secondary needed it. Like I said, we were relying on Davis, and our other boys were old as shit.
I also want to point out you guys had an awesome pick in Marlon Mack.
You know what? Gore, he's in the twilight of his career. Let's face it.
Hey, if he
2 years ago he was in the twilight of his career.
If he gets you like 800 to 900 yards,
that's all I can ask.
You take it.
That's all I can ask. But Mac really is the next coming of Gore for us.
And it's needed.
They're ideal backs.
It's needed.
You need that.
Yep.
It's like our version of the bus.
You know what? Like, again, I'm looking at what you guys have done right now, and I don't question any of these picks. Based on what I've seen as well, I think a lot of analysts are agreeing. Like, you guys had a great draft this year.
They say it was probably, especially considering the, like, transitional phase we're going through and getting a new GM again. So, I was skeptical, don't get me wrong, but, I mean, Ballard comes highly regarded for what he did. So, I guess proof is in the pudding. He's just proving his worth right now, and I hope that this draft class shows that.
I think it will. I think the Colts have something to be excited about again. I don't know if it's going to be right away.
I think we're maybe another year before making our championship runs.
Maybe you guys take that wild card spot.
Yeah.
Fight out for that. I think that's achievable.
I can see us being a 7-9 team.
Yeah, achievable.
So, can we go to my next favorite team, though, in the South? Jacksonville. And it's just, I know they're nothing great. But how they've been drafting the past 2 years, they're really grabbing pieces I love.
Well, I think Leonard Fournette is going to be a fantastic pickup for them.
Exactly.
But their problem is still Blake Bortles.
I'm not talking quarterbacks.
But
I'm
just
talking
saying,
the past couple drafts.
As a team,
you succeed and die by...
Blake Bortles is not what you thought he was going to be, and they just picked up his fifth-year option.
Yeah, it was highly scrutinized, that issue. But, like, I'm looking at their defensive improvements they made last year with Ramsey falling to them. You know, you get Fournette on the running back aspect.
I like the
no
addition.
Longer,
Cam Robinson. That's going to be huge for them.
He needs some support on the O-line.
Oh, yeah.
But, that's why he was on his ass the whole fucking time, Bortles. But, you know what? It's no longer a pass-heavy team. It doesn't have to be a pass-heavy team. So when he's getting fucking pinched, just shuffle that putt like that fucking rock over. You know what I mean? That is what Fournette is meant to be. He's a power back.
I think they have a couple good picks. I don't think they had a good draft.
I say they're top-heavy in the draft. Like, they got one, two correct.
First, second round, exactly. Yeah, they did okay.
Exactly.
I think a little bit of a stretch here and there. Not to say that anything from the third round on won't pan out.
No, but they're not going to be major contributors right now.
Yeah.
And that, but I'm just saying, I like them as an up-and-comer, really. I just like what they did last year. Ramsey played phenomenal. You know what, maybe I'm just more excited about last year than this year.
Well, the potential is definitely there. So, Jacksonville.
Tennessee.
Let's move it on. Tennessee, you already have Marcus Mariota. They already got guys in the right places.
Yep.
Adding another wide receiver for him in Corey Davis and Tywan Taylor. With their two of their first 3 picks. Not bad.
Fast as shit.
Not bad.
So, give him more weapons.
Yep.
Maybe follow that successful early millennium of the Colts era, where you were just offense.
But I mean, like, Tennessee's issue is still going to be defense. And they added in an Adoree Jackson. But when I see them going offensive for their first 3 of their 4 picks, kind of throws me off into where their head's at. Are they just hoping to outscore teams every game?
Could be.
Is that kind of where they're straying?
Like I said, early millennium of the Colts.
I don't see much to see. I think they drafted okay. I don't know if they get better. Like, I don't see the Titans in playoff contention this year.
No. They'll be fighting with the Colts 2-3.
With that being said, let us move on. Maybe the AFC East?
Call it.
AFC East. Let's take a peek here. So, maybe we start off with the Jets.
Jets.
Little Jets. So, obviously, 2 safeties off the bat.
Which is surprising to me. Like, why would you rebuild a safety, like, back-to-back like that when there were so many other options on the board?
The thing is, it's a problem area for them. I think Jamal Adams, from what I understand and what I'm reading, is one of the best players coming out of the draft.
Yep. Like,
NFL ready. You could put him in. Coach, I'm good to go.
Oh, it's him and Hooker that are 1-2 in the draft for safeties.
But outside of that, I don't understand what the Jets are going for here.
That's why I said, I don't understand why you waste your first 2 picks. You need a quarterback.
Yeah.
How do you let Kaiser go by you?
Yeah. Like, you could tell there's no... Like,
there's no direction right now.
No, it's...
They're going for the first overall pick next year is what they're doing right now.
Yeah, like, you're not telling Fitzpatrick, hey, you're my guy. Geno Smith, it looks like they've officially given up on.
You have a better chance calling up Vic, being like, hey, suit him up for us one more time.
And he officially retired, too. So.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe they call it Mettenberger.
Why not? At this point, why the fuck not?
Hey, we'll give them Landry Jones. If they really want him. Not much to say on the Jets front. Sorry, Jets fans. Jamal Adams is going to be awesome for you guys. I don't see the upgrades needed here to get you guys back to like your Cliff Pennington days when you're pushing for playoff spots.
Good point. Exactly.
So, we move along.
You gotta go to the rivals. You gotta go to the fucking hate them or love them. Belichick and the Pats.
So the Pats had 4 picks.
And yet I am excited for Derek Rivers.
Derek Rivers is going to be good, but what the Patriots did to get themselves better was sign or trade.
Oh, God.
It was not a draft time for the Pats.
It's a win now. And the fact that they still pulled off that trade with the Saints is disturbing to me still. I didn't sleep for a week.
It's disgusting what the Patriots can do. To me, it feels like every player they get, no matter what the position, no matter what the case is, they turn him into a spark plug that helps that team continue to succeed.
I'm just blown away by the receiving corps right now. They already had Edelman. Like, you didn't need a one.
Well, you got Danny Amendola there.
Amendola.
You got Edelman.
You were fine with that. That's all you needed. You got Gronk lining up at tight end. He wasn't even playing the Super Bowl.
Martellus Bennett was there.
So, you know what, Pats? Good on you for getting another linebacker. They always fucking develop linebackers somehow.
They develop everything, man. I was almost, I thought the Steelers had a great chance of getting Dante Hightower. We were close.
I know.
We were close. Like, I think Steelers were probably one of the last 2 or 3 teams he was looking at.
Yep.
But I don't think there was ever any question he was leaving.
You can't leave.
You play the market, you play the field, and that's it, right?
So, Pats, good on you. You guys are still going to fuck it. Like I said, this was not a draft year for you. This was a acquisition year for you.
Continue to acquire. Yeah.
And you guys played it well.
I think we'll potentially see them back in the Super Bowl, if not a semifinals again.
Oh, hands down.
Not even a question.
They did nothing but improve.
As long as Tom Brady stays healthy.
Yeah.
They have 3 quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's the only thing that was a little surprised. I thought he was going to leave. I thought he was going to be traded out.
I wouldn't put it past them. I feel like if during the season there is a need,
if there's a hole,
they may look to trade one of the other 2 backups to Brady.
So now do we go to the rivals of the Pats, let's just say, in the Bills? The team that always wants to be the Pats but never will?
So I'm going to say right off the bat, I love what the Bills did with Tre'Davious White and Zay Jones. Addressing on both sides of the ball. The Bills, they're an interesting one for me because it looked like they were potentially turning a corner. The defense started playing better,
I've always secretly been a fan of their defense. Like, even way back when.
Like, when they had, like, the Paul Posluszny days.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there was potential for the Bills to be a good team.
Yep.
And it just seemed like things went off the rails again.
I think it starts from the quarterback, fiasco of, do you start Taylor or do you start Manuel? Well, E.J. Manuel was supposed to be the guy. They drafted him. He was supposed to be the number 1. He just didn't cut out. Nope.
Another case of, a failed draft pick. And then, Tyrod Taylor jumps in. He takes over. Then towards the back end of the last season, they had issues with him too. And then it was, is he going to resign? Is he going to walk?
Yeah, they didn't know. Ultimately, they say that's why they lost their GM, was that misdirection, that misguidance, that misleadership. And I kind of understand that.
It doesn't make sense, man.
Because they have some pieces. I still am baffled that they didn't pick up Watkins' 5th year. I get it. I get the injuries and he's not performing. But while he's on the field, I love his route runs.
He's a big receiver.
He runs really well.
Yeah.
And he's a really good receiver.
It's just, the interesting thing about it is, like, does somebody else take a chance on him? Like, do you see the Pats calling up Sammy Watkins and making him an all-star? Like, I can see that shit happening.
They will probably fucking put him on defense and somehow he'll be fucking perennial, like, Pro Bowler.
Honestly.
Because that's just what the Pats do.
Honestly. But another kudos to the Bills here. They took out Nathan Peterman. Looks like he's going to be a developing quarterback. So if you believe in Tyrod right now, let him keep going. See what you have in him officially.
All I will say is if you are a Bills fan, I'm sure you've already done it. If not, anyone else abroad, please check out Peterman's kind of trick shots on YouTube. Worth the watch. It's money.
Guys, I think
overall success for the Bills.
It's a good draft. I'm interested to see how this relates to the field now.
Yep.
Let's see how that goes. So, Bills Nation, get excited, guys. You never know what you're going to get.
You did some good.
You guys are the box of chocolates. Now, let's jump on over. Let's finish off this division. Miami Dolphins. You got a quarterback. You got Ryan Tannehill. He's good.
Yep.
I don't think you got any question marks there. You went out. You addressed some defensive needs right away.
I think they had a very safe draft in my eyes.
It wasn't bad. I don't think they're immediately game changers.
Exactly.
But I think these are guys who are going to help them out going forward. Because they got burnt on defense a lot last year.
Yep. And their offense can put up numbers. So, I mean, if their defense can stop a couple more.
Without Tannehill's injury last year, there was some potential that team,
makes some noise.
Makes the noise, makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right?
Easily a 9-7 team.
Yeah.
Easily.
They could be.
Especially in that division.
They're for me, they're this year coming in based on what they got in here. Again, I don't know how these guys are going to relate to the pro level, but I can see Miami this year at that, on a 50-50, 8-8, or up a bit, down a bit. 9-7, 7-9.
Yeah, in that range.
They're going to be there. They're going to be a middle tier team. I think finding themselves, if you will, figuring out what they have here.
So,
we move on.
AFC East, who's the winner in the draft pool?
Oh.
I think the Bills. I think the Bills addressed what they needed, and it did cost their GM his job. But I'm not saying acquisition, because otherwise, the Pats can take the cake.
Yeah, I think you
draft
can't,
only.
You can't count the Patriots, and you can't count what the Jets did. I don't think it was good enough. Sorry, guys, if you're fans of those teams. But yeah, I think you're right. You got to give it to the Bills.
Yeah.
The Dolphins have the pieces, but the Bills might have the guys who can make the differences now. Even Zay Jones, man.
It's going to be a good one.
Big things.
It's going to be a good one.
Let's finish off the AFC here. I know we put in some extra time into our favorite teams, so let's get rolling. We want to make sure we can hit all your teams, guys. AFC West?
Give it.
So, where do you want to start?
I mean, we can say that I think Lynch... Sorry. I say Lynch because he was formerly the fucking secondary of the Broncos. I'm going the Broncos here.
Okay.
Broncos did well in addressing the offensive line.
I like Garrett Bowles a lot.
He fell to them. How do you not take him?
He was watching that draft, he's a troubled youth.
I thought for sure he was a top 15 pick easy.
He's going to be a game changer for them. The question
He's
mark...
starting game one.
Yeah, but the question mark right now for Denver is, who is your quarterback? Is it Paxton Lynch?
I don't know. I don't believe in him.
Or is it Simeon?
Yeah, Simeon's the other guy that they have. I don't believe in Lynch, though.
I think he's still fresh. He's a big quarterback. He may take some time. He's kind of got giraffe feet, in my eyes.
His footwork's poor?
Yeah. When I see a Paxton Lynch. But he's got an arm.
That's what he's known for. That's why they were drafted.
It's like, for me, when I saw Simeon starting, I'm like, who is this kid? And then, Denver started off pretty well. And I think what Denver is, they have a defense. When you have Von Miller on the field, you have a defense.
And it blows my mind that they're almost wasting it. They don't have anyone to take the charge like the Mannings.
Well, I mean, I guess we can drop it now as new news. Jamal Charles just signed there. You gave yourself some more offense here.
Gives them more offense, more support to the rookie quarterbacks, I should say.
Exactly.
I use that term lightly, but more so that they're still young.
I mean, they brought in some half-decent guys on both sides, like DeMarcus Walker, Carlos Henderson, Jake Butt, supposed to be a pretty half-decent tight end.
I will say my favorite pick, and it's always Mr. Irrelevant, is Chad Kelly. Just because, he is, father's formerly of the NFL, so, I mean, why not tie in the bloodlines, so.
Hey, man, where you get drafted in the NFL does not matter.
Oh,
actually, in any sport these days.
It's like baseball, man.
Baseball, hockey.
Your 21st round.
You want to talk Detroit NHL drafts?
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's stay the course.
Anywhere you can go, man. So, Broncos, I think you guys did well. Let's move it along here, looking at the Chiefs.
Chiefs, let me tell you, probably the best trade that happened in the draft. Moving up, identifying that you have a need, that Alex Smith is not going to be the guy that takes you to the next round.
Well, Alex Smith is the guy for now. There's nothing else behind him. He's
not the one that's going to win you the fucking championship.
Not necessarily. So the thing with Alex Smith is, he's not a field general.
No.
He's not the guy who comes out. He's not, a big arm. He's not the frickin', running around making like a Roethlisberger play. No, Alex Smith what would be the best way to describe him? He's a manager.
He really is Reed's best quarterback.
He sits back, he reads plays, he does little dump down passes. He doesn't throw over 20 yards.
No.
Watching the Chiefs offense, I'm sorry to say it, Chiefs fans, is boring. It's flat out boring. Because when they had Jamal Charles, it was explosive.
Yep.
That guy was running, it opens up a couple passes here and there, but Alex Smith, how do you feel if you're the 49ers looking back at that draft now, and you're like, yeah, we took Alex Smith and we could have taken Aaron Rodgers?
You look at the other 22 teams above where the Packers drafted, you say, how do you not take Aaron Rodgers?
It's
so
ridiculous, but, Patrick Mahomes coming in here.
I think this was a huge acquisition, and I don't even want to go further in breaking down this draft in this division. They took a cake with that. Yeah, you paid for it, but you got what you needed.
They got their future quarterback set up here.
Their future face of the franchise.
So, Chiefs Nation, you guys got something exciting to look for.
Chargers.
For Polar Bear Steve. So, I'm going to speak on behalf of Steve right here because we were discussing this during the draft.
Okay.
He did call out that defense is a blaring need for them.
And you waited to the 5th round.
His thought was our offense is fine. Why do we need Mike Williams? Now, can your offense ever be good enough? Absolutely not.
I mean, I think at the point of the 2nd and 3rd rounds, they're taking some of the best players available.
And Mike Williams is a great receiver. So they took a guy who's going to be effective right away. Then they jump into the O-line, back-to-back, a Dan Feeney and a Forrest Lamp.
Which were
Lamp is supposed to be really good. Really, really good.
Highly regarded for where they were drafted.
But you don't take a defender for that need until the 4th round in Rayshawn Jenkins, who's not bad. Again, another guy maybe doesn't, make an immediate impact, but he'll play.
I mean, I know people say the Chargers come out for the better in this draft, and I see it. But you're playing to your strength. Is that really what the draft is meant for? It depends on the philosophy you adapt. If you want to take either the best player available at the time, which is what we clearly see they did.
And Mike Williams, for sure.
Or you take, what you need, and you kind of go off the board and make a stretch pick.
Well, I like what the Chargers did nonetheless. I don't like they didn't address their defense. And again, reiterating Polar Bear Steve, he felt the same way as a Chargers fan. But, you got fresh face here in LA. You brought in some half-decent players. Chargers Nation, not bad, guys. Not bad. Finishing it off, Oakland Raiders.
I am baffled by the Oakland Raiders.
They're a good team. They're a very good team.
I love what they do, but, no one likes sleeping with their ex.
I love taking a look at all their picks here. So, obviously, they had 4 picks in the 7th round. Now, you're not expected to have superstars come from there. But it looks like they addressed small needs. Because to me, if Carr stays healthy, the Raiders have a longer run in the playoffs.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
They are okay. I don't think they had a bad draft. I don't think they had an amazing draft. I think they did okay. I think they got areas they needed some help with. These guys, I've heard nothing but good things about Garyon Conley as well.
Again, he's another kind of controversial piece, but I mean, what pick from Oakland in the past 10 years hasn't been? So,
and that's the truth.
That being said, breaking down the conference, or break down the division, who comes out on top? I know I'll take flack for it. I just love what the Chiefs did. They went balls to the wall, and they acquired the guy they wanted. So for that, Chiefs, Casey, I give it to you guys in this division for, sticking to your guns.
So for me, I think I know who I'm not giving it to. It's definitely not Denver. I don't give it to Oakland. I think it's a toss-up for me between the Chiefs and the Chargers. I do like that the Chiefs, again, hit a point of need, getting a quarterback. So I will agree with you in edging that out for them. But I think the Chargers are a close second.
Fair.
So that's the AFC. Let's hop into NFC. Start off, same thing, NFC North.
NFC North.
Let's head on over. So,
can I start it?
Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears. The Bears are who we thought they were.
And we let them off the hook.
And they let themselves off the hook.
Jesus Christ, did they ever overpay?
I
will say the 49ers, man, did you guys play that well?
I'm a little in shock and awe. Trubisky's a good quarterback. I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback.
Is he worth trading 2 additional picks to move up 1 slot?
And here's my thing is, what did you do? You went out, you got rid of Jay Cutler.
Yep.
You assessed the situation, you said, he's a problem area, bye-bye. Go have fun with Kristen Cavallari.
Never a bad thing.
Mad props to him for that one.
Yeah.
But you go and sign Mike Glennon, a quarterback who's never been a starter.
Nope.
He's had a good college career.
Yep.
But never shown anything in the NFL.
Nope.
And you give him a big deal.
3 years, I think.
And then you go draft a quarterback paying out the ass for the 2nd overall pick. And then he goes to Chicago and gets booed.
Yeah, the draft parties when that pick was announced in Chicago were just hazing.
My God.
The fact that you not mortgaged. I mean, okay, to move up, yeah, you got to give something. But really, did you think like he is the end all be all that is worth that move up of one slot? That is the only pick of significance you have. And you didn't even call it. You didn't even get it right.
I'm pretty baffled with this, so I'm not gonna lie.
Reading all the articles I've read, they say probably the worst draft or the worst drafted team. Like they fared the worst out of everybody in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Bears fans, what else can you say? I think you guys know.
Bears fans, you know what? Maybe go watch your Cubbies. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we can't say the Blackhawks anymore. That's too soon.
Yeah, too soon.
My bad, guys. All right. No, real talk, though, to close that one off, guys. I hope for you guys, I truly hope, because the Bears have gone through some rough times. I know you guys had the glory days with Urlacher, Lance Briggs.
Yep.
It was good.
Yep.
You know, the Bears were a good team.
You were identifiable.
And I hope you guys get back there.
It's going to take some time.
I don't think it's Glennon. Maybe it's Trubisky. I don't want to count the kid out right away, but I think for the sake of the draft, for what we're talking about and what you guys are going to the season with, I don't think you're better than last year.
It was a swing and a whiff.
Yes. On to the Lions.
Yep.
Let's talk Lions. So, I right away liked that the Lions jumped up and hit that defense.
They needed it. I know they've been working on it the past couple years.
Because you know Matty Stafford's your guy. Not even a question.
Love it.
So, you address the linebacker, you address the corner, and a Gerard Davis and a Tease Tabor. Both, like, playmakers.
Yep.
These guys help out that D. And when you already have a good offense, this starts making that team well-rounded again. Obviously, they can never replace Megatron.
No.
You know, when Calvin Johnson walked away from this team, it hurt.
Still hurt, yep.
Now, you go out and get Kenny Galladay. Not a bad receiver.
They say, they're just kind of restocking that receiver corps for Stafford.
And you have to, because you have a good quarterback. Stafford's 29.
He's in his prime.
You have time, and the kid's got a fucking arm, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like
he
that.
can Hail Mary with the best of them.
He's a gunslinger.
God, yeah.
Now, when you have that kind of a zip on a quarterback, and again, he's a smart quarterback.
He doesn't force the play.
No. You start putting the offensive pieces back around with him again, right? You take a look. The defense now, you're bringing in some picks. I think the Lions start turning the corner again.
Agree. I'm a little surprised that they didn't really address a running back per se. Because I feel like they have some identity issues there.
A little bit.
But outside that, Lions, well done.
Yeah.
Build it from both sides of the ball.
Detroit, obviously, you got the Red Wings who are going to go through a rebuild, but I don't think the Lions got to go that way, guys. I don't think they got to go that way. Jump into the Packers, who I'm hoping to go see this year down in Pittsburgh.
I think the Packers did well.
I think as long as Aaron Rodgers touches the field, you're fine. But Aaron Rodgers can't play defense.
True.
So, as long as you get a healthy Clay Matthews, as long as you get your big guys back on the field, like Jordy Nelson has to stay healthy.
That is a big part.
Right?
Big part.
If you keep your main guys on the field, and you look at what they added in a Kevin King, supposed to be a pretty half-decent corner.
He was supposed to be in a first-round draft pick.
And he dropped out. Injuries were obviously a big part in some of these guys, working their way down.
Yep.
Right? They jump in at the safety position in a Josh Jones. Defensive tackle, Montravius Adams. So, they looked at their defense and said, we need an immediate upgrade. Because why? You want Aaron Rodgers on the field as much as possible.
Exactly. You want that ball turned over to your franchise.
And what do? I like that they went out. I like that they got some more receivers and another running back. Jamal Williams, D'Angelo Yancey.
Weapons at your disposal.
You can never give Rodgers too much.
Exactly.
So I think the Packers.
Give them options.
I think they had a good draft. I think the Packers are back in the playoffs as usual.
Oh, God,
if they stay healthy, who knows? Maybe Super Bowl?
Ooh, that's a tough call. It's too soon.
We're not making predictions, guys. We're just saying, based on what they did here.
There's potential there. I'll give them one of the four. Yeah, I'd say one of the four teams I would say from the NFC that would.
They stay healthy. I see them as an NFC championship team.
So this leaves us with the Vikings.
The Vikings, who just turned down the option on Teddy Bridgewater.
It hurts me because he did show promise in year 3 before the huge knee injury and all that jazz.
Yep.
And it hurts that he is recovering, and that's the news that you get when you're recovering. You're trying to better yourself, come back stronger, ready for the season. He didn't want to be off.
No.
But with the significance of that injury, It's unfortunate. I hope he does get a shot in the NFL again.
Well, and Sam Bradford played half decent for them.
Surprisingly, yes.
After the bad show in St. Louis that he showed.
Oh, God, yeah. And then even with the Eagles, right?
Yeah. So right away, you lost Adrian Peterson.
It's a changing of the guard.
An entire change.
And it's an identity change in Minnesota right now.
But you bring in a stud Florida State running back in Dalvin Cook.
I think he is the perfect piece to take over.
I like it. I like what they did. You know, they got it themselves a new center. Definitely not a bad situation for them.
Well, you know that was another issue with Peterson towards the back end. Why he suffered.
Yeah.
Exactly.
O-line was having some issues there, right? Looks like, you know, again, 4th round, defense heavy. You with Jaleel Johnson, he's a big boy. Big boy in that D-line. You know, Ben Gideon, little linebacker addition there. Minnesota's offense isn't bad. Or defense isn't bad, sorry.
Yep.
So
they're always up there.
Small additions to make this team better. And then now you start adding some of that extra on the offense here with a Rodney Adams wide receiver, Dalvin Cook, who we spoke of already. Minnesota could be a playoff team.
I think it's similar to how you were saying with the
Dolphins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where they're a 9-7, 7-9 team.
Maybe a wild card team.
In that range.
No.
That's where I will see Minnesota. So, who came out the winners in the North?
So, for me, it's going to be the Packers.
I agree.
It's going to be the Packers.
I agree. They identified their issue that, you know what, they don't have the depth where they need it, given the injuries that they sustained last year. If they stay healthy, this draft is a huge success.
And funny enough, it's not even that it's like bad. It's just helping.
Exactly.
It's the little tweaks, the little pieces that make you a championship team.
Pieces.
That's all it is. And then when you're that good, when it's all you need, kudos to you guys.
All right, South.
All right, cheeseheads. Hopefully I see you in November. Off to the South. I don't know. Where do you want to start? Maybe Carolina?
Well, you know what? They definitely took one of the most exciting players in the draft. I don't know if you've seen McCaffrey's foot speed.
He's ridiculous.
It is disgusting.
He's ridiculous.
His foot speed running ladders is disturbing.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even, jerk off that fast. And Buddy's running that fast.
All right, then. This went dark. So, I like right away, Cam Newton needed some help.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Christian McCaffrey is going to be a big playmaker. He's going to be like an Ezekiel Elliott out there.
He will give him the option to throw or hand off for a run.
Well, that's the thing. He's going to open up the pass.
Exactly.
Right? And you got to protect Cam this year. Adding a wide receiver in Kira Samuel in the second round was big for them.
Well, yeah, I think you line him up with Benjamin. That's a pretty decent receiving
Absolutely. Corps. And I love that they went O-line and got Taylor Moton.
They needed it.
Because Cam's getting hit too much.
Whether or not
he's in the pocket or out of the pocket.
Yeah, he's not going to last.
He's taken too many.
Because he is a big boy. He's a Roethlisberger in terms of build.
Yeah, I'd say he's a little bit more athletic than Roethlisberger, obviously. Ben is a bigger, more a statue-type player, where when he was younger, he did run around a little bit more. He's still mobile now. But Cam, for me, obviously is more mobile. I'd probably give you on Roethlisberger, but we're not comparing. Cam's a good quarterback. You got to protect him. You don't want to lose a guy like him early in his career. The guy's still got so much time to be good.
Agreed.
So, I like what Carolina did here.
I really like what Carolina did here.
Defense looks pretty solid, bringing in Deshaun Hall, Corn Elder. You can't go wrong, man. Good draft for Carolina.
Dare we go to perhaps the player that I was hoping the Colts took, Lattimore, the Saints?
I like that the Saints got him.
The Saints backfield needed it.
The thing is, you still have Drew Brees. You still have the field general.
You're still putting, if you're still lining, like freaking Rodgers, playing. If Rodgers is on the field, if Brees is on the field, you have a chance to win a fucking game.
Absolutely you do. Because he can control a game.
Oh.
With that being said, I like that they addressed the defense. I like that they brought in another running back in Alvin Kamara.
Yes.
And I also love that you're still caring about protecting Brees and getting a Ryan Ramczyk, who's supposed to be a phenomenal lineman.
No, it was well done. I mean, that's the pick they got from the Pats. So, why not? Why not protect the pieces that you have?
You utilize it well. You utilize your Hall of Famer.
I love that they're protecting the quarterback to view his options in receiving court that they took away from. So, it kind of makes me laugh there.
Drew Brees is the guy who makes anybody better.
But Lattimore was what they needed.
It's a game changer. He's a playmaker and a game changer.
Huge.
So hopefully the Saints keep going. I love those guys. I saw them actually my first game in Pittsburgh. We took a loss to them.
Oh, there you go.
But Brees was stellar, man.
Nice.
Stellar.
So have your pick.
Do you want to go...
Do you want team 3/4 or do you want...
Let's go 3/4.
Okay.
Let's go to the Super Bowl finalists, Atlanta Falcons. who Falcon D's not bad. It's not bad, but they jumped right away at Takaris McKinley, who I think he's a character guy.
I mean, they did move up.
He's a character guy. He's a little aggressive. But if that relates on the field, I think they're okay.
Like you say, their defense is not bad at all already. And the fact that they're just kind of putting like the icing on the cake, if you will, perhaps that's the pieces.
Do you think it's because they lost last year and
that's
gave
why
up so many points?
Team third quarter.
Yeah.
Because, unfortunately, the whole analogy, defense wins championships, and their defense did not hold the pad. Literally, the Patriots.
Yeah, I look what they draft. I like that they got the linebackers. Sure, you want to get better than what you gave up against the Pats. Sean Harlow, obviously, you want to keep protecting Matty Ice.
Oh, God. Still one of the best quarterbacks right now.
But I don't understand what else they did here. Like, I don't see any playmakers that help this team. They're going to be depending on their laurels from last year, for me.
Probably.
I think McKinley probably, if he stays healthy, if he's a game changer with Vic Beasley, this defense just got better. But I don't understand what else they did in this draft. To me, it wasn't strong for them, but I think they got a good addition to McKinley.
I mean, if you're trading up to get a guy that you want, then, I'm sure you've done your research, and he should be a difference maker for your team.
I can still see the Falcons making a push again this year. No questions asked.
This group, I'm worried with what the Panthers did. I think this is the Panthers' division to lose, but that's for another podcast.
Definitely. Finishing it off, Buccaneers.
I know this is not free agent based, but free agent draft combined, I think the Buccaneers are one of the best teams to come out this offseason.
Well, you got Deshaun Jackson now with Mike Evans. You have a quarterback in Jameis Winston.
You add one of the best tight ends in the draft in O.J. Howard.
He's phenomenal, man. He's
and
awesome.
That is disgusting.
The offense is great, and they don't have, again, another team, not a bad defense. They addressed some issues at safety with Justin Evans, at linebacker with Kendall Beckwith. They might not. I think Evans probably will be a guy who can make a difference right away. I don't know if Beckwith will, but their defense wasn't bad to begin with last year. So, if we got to break down this division,
it is so. I think this is one of the best drafted divisions.
I think, as you mentioned, if you package deal it with offseason acquisitions,
it's Buccaneers.
It's the Buccaneers. It's the Buccaneers.
But if we're talking draft only,
strictly draft.
Unfortunately,
Are you thinking the Panthers because of McCaffrey?
Exactly. And put Samuel there, like that is, and then you protect your quarterback with Moden.
I think I'm still going to give it to the Bucs.
Okay.
I think I'm going to give it to the Bucs.
Okay, fair
but
enough.
I don't think you have any wrong answer there because they both did phenomenal.
They're 1A, 1B.
So,
it's funny because they're such rivals, right?
Yeah, of course. Let's, NFC East?
NFC East.
Let's hop on over here. Let's see what we got. So, maybe Cowboys?
Let's go.
So, what do we know the Cowboys did this offseason? Tony Romo retired. You got your quarterback in Dak Prescott. You got your running back in Ezekiel Elliott.
You got Dez Bryant on the
You got Dez. Receiver. So your offense is good.
What do you need?
You need defense.
You need defense.
They addressed that right away with Taco Charlton.
Yep.
I love his name. They got a great corner in Chidobe Awuzie. Jordan Lewis as well, I heard, is a not bad corner at third round. Mm-hmm. A good pick for them. And they just kept going, man. Ryan Switzer's going to be probably a half-decent slot receiver. Xavier Woods. Shout out to Up, Down, Down. Xavier Woods had some fun with this one. But I think the Cowboys drafted well for what they needed. They knew their offense was okay. Little tweaks, Ryan Switzer. But you hit defensive ends in the corners, which was...
It was a smart draft for them.
I wouldn't say a problem area. I'd say that it was the complement.
Yep. It was a smart draft for the Cowboys.
Shout out to the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
Now, from a team that did so well in the draft to a team that I kind of question outside getting a quarterback, I mean, you're just getting controversy here. The Giants, I'm talking about you guys here. I question every pick.
So, if I got to talk on a personal level of Giants, the team itself before this draft, I feel like they're falling apart.
You have a great receiver, and you're just burning it now.
Well, you also have a receiver who left to go to Florida before the playoff game. There's going to be a lot of controversy, is all I'm saying. I feel like this team is not a tight unit. And in football, your team is your family.
You get that feel, eh? Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And I think they didn't draft well. I'm sorry, Giants fans. I don't believe that you guys, pardon me, did anything crazy here to make you guys exceptionally better.
Webb if anything, is I think the piece that perhaps...
He's probably their best part of the draft. I like Evan Engram as a tight end. I don't think that makes them a better team, though. Yeah, but I think you look to a future piece here in Webb and know that if Manning were to go down,
you have
something there.
In the wings.
But to me, the Giants, they flopped.
It's a silence thing. It's a silence act.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, sorry, Giants fans, we're moving along here. Philadelphia Eagles. They're another team that I'll never understand.
Didn't do much better.
No, they didn't. What do you say? They got Derek Barnett. They addressed some defensive issues, obviously. They went D heavy the first 3 rounds. Sidney Jones is supposed to be a half-decent corner. Rasul Douglas, I haven't heard much about, so my expectations are you're probably not going to get much there. Matt Collins is okay. Donnell Pumphrey, I heard is not bad. He may actually end up being half-decent in a 4th-round steal. But again, there's nothing in place for me there.
We go from one of the strongest draft divisions
to probably the worst.
To probably one of the worst.
Yeah.
Like, Eagles, I'm sorry, guys.
I love you guys. I like Carson Wentz.
Oh, God, he was awesome last year.
I think this team will be turning around, but I think based on this draft, they didn't address issues that are going to help make them better next year.
They did not get pieces that will be impactful.
Not right away, at least.
So, sorry, Eagles.
Sorry, Eagles fans.
Maybe next year.
You guys are our Pennsylvania rivals, so whatever.
The Redskins.
The Redskins.
Thanks for Ballard.
So, Jonathan Allen right away, defensive end. Not bad. Redskins D can always get better.
Yep.
They're not bad, but they can always get better.
Yep.
I like that they brought in Ryan Anderson. Samaje Perine, I heard, is supposed to be a pretty good steal at 4th round. Pretty good steal. You got Kirk Cousins there.
Now, see, again, the draft, you know what, it was decent for them. But my question is, where do you see Washington right now? Are they still the middle of the pack? Because if we're talking about a team, like, the draft is meant to get one piece that should make a difference.
At least one piece that changes,
and multiple pieces that should at least complement.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you see that here?
I don't see the Redskins getting exceptionally better, if that's what you're asking.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I don't see that.
In the realm of the draft that was the NFC East.
Yes.
Unfortunately, almost by default, you gotta say Cowboys come out on top.
I do, just because of how good they are, what they brought in probably makes a difference off the bat. So for me, it's definitely the Cowboys.
So let's wrap this bad boy up. Let's go to the NFC West.
Our last division. Here we go. NFC West. Where do you want to start off?
You know what? I want to end with the 49ers.
You want to end with the... Okay, we end 49ers. Let's say we start the Cardinals.
From the top.
From the top. Cardinals, you still got Carson Palmer.
You still have Fitzgerald.
Larry's still kicking.
I don't know how, but...
I mean, good on him. I've heard that the Cardinals are looking into getting Blaine Gabbert.
Yep.
As a backup issue, because, Palmer, injury issue. There, all the time. So, I like that they're potentially looking into some other quarterbacks. Drew Stanton, obviously, still kicking around. I don't think he's a starter. We addressed this.
Yep.
But defense was potentially an issue there.
Well, I mean, I think this Hassan Reddick should line up.
And Budda Baker as well. Great safety.
They should line up and improve that defense. They should be more than rotational pieces there. They should be starting. I'd say, if not within the first, 2 weeks, definitely within the first month of the season. They're probably starters.
I think the Cardinals are still going to be a team that's going to contend. And I think they had a good draft.
Yep.
Not a great draft, they had a good draft.
Yeah.
They brought in pieces I think that'll help them. But I wouldn't say that they're...
They were not the Eagles or the Giants, let me tell you.
I mean, they're not, one of the worst or the best. They're the middle of the pack for me.
So let's go on to the Rams.
No. The Rams...
Need I say anything? Need I say anything?
I did not like what I saw out of Jared Goff at all last year. Carson Wentz looks like he's going to be the better quarterback.
Yep.
And from the pieces they brought in here, I do not see anything that makes them a better team.
It still blows my... given they didn't have a first-rounder based from the trade from last year and all that fun stuff, but for what... I mean, they still had, 5 picks in the first 4 rounds. That's... You should be able to pull those complementary pieces.
Should.
And they didn't.
Hypothetically.
So, it's a big whiff.
Again, I don't...
It's a dropped pass right now, is what it is.
Well, they've had basically a entire franchise of draft passes over there. They haven't been good for a very long time.
I know.
And now they moved to LA, which made no difference. Moving on to the Seahawks.
So the one thing that come out of the Seahawks, outside the fact they had like a plethora of what it felt like,
Is that they drafted Mike Tyson?
Fair enough. Tattooed or like pre or post tattoo?
Probably post.
Oh, okay.
He'll probably be aggressive.
I'm surprised. I thought they were going to break up the Legion of Doom, and especially because they kind of addressed that in the draft.
There's still potential that Sherman heads out. Apparently, he's been telling people he wants to play for the Pats.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you're going to see some changes, I think, in Seattle coming up. I think Seattle's still a good team as long as Russell Wilson's still there.
He is a good quarterback.
He's a great quarterback. And
I think he does need a couple more weapons, but I think he's a good
at this point, he's probably lacking a bit in some extra help there.
Well, especially since Lynch retiring and then coming back. That's another.
Yeah.
So, but
nonetheless, I like Malik McDowell. They got Ethan Pocic as a new center.
You line him up with Hill, Thompson, Tyson. They're developing another Legion of Doom there.
I have hope. I have hope that this draft pans out for Seattle. I like Seattle. I like the running gun offense that they play. And I think, again, they're, for me, a team that drafted good.
I say they, from this draft year's class, are a top 10 in terms of how well they drafted. Just based on the quality.
Maybe at about 10.
Yeah, I'm not saying like a 7, 6, 5.
Yeah.
Not top 5.
Like 10 to 12 for me, I think.
10 to 12?
10 to 12.
Okay, I can give you that.
And wrapping it all up, your favorite, the 49ers.
They, outside the Browns, probably have the best draft.
And they needed it.
Fuck, did they ever need it. This
team needs an identity. Because it doesn't seem like they have any belief in Colin Kaepernick.
Nope, he's still a free agent.
I don't know, man. Like,
this team was hurting ever since Aldon Smith got traded. Willis retired. Like, how fast they fell from, like, what should have been their...
Super Bowl contention?
Yeah, like, perennial contenders of Super Bowl to insignificant pieces of crap.
I put a lot of that on Kaepernick because he has definitely declined.
He has regressed.
Like, it's just he's not accurate. Like, his stuff's all over the place.
It's almost like he lost himself.
Yeah, basically.
Really, he did.
And I think this is the beginning of a good turn for them. I think I'd put up there, agreeing with you 100%, that the 49ers had one of the best drafts.
So, kudos to Lynch.
All around.
For executing that. Yeah. They put identities into their defense. Their defense, I'm telling you now, a couple years will be probably in the top 10, if not top 5 in the league.
I think Lynch is showing people that obviously that football knowledge is there. They drafted well. Like I said, 49ers could be turning it around.
So, boys and girls, such is the NFL draft. It starts, hopefully, the successful bit of us starting the Madden franchise for you guys.
Cannot wait for Madden.
Can't wait for us to do our draft. Are we going to do franchise? What are we going to do? We'll figure that out when the time comes.
Ultimate Team at least.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
loving that Ultimate Team.
Stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, why?
Why aren't you subscribed? Why? Do you not like us? Is that what it is? What happened to the love? Where's the love?
We gotta bring Sally in?
Sally from Bay Street?
Why not?
I heard she's pricey, guys.
It's a hot take.
Love those hot takes. Guys, get subscribing. Stay with us on the journey. Chef Tom and I have been having a blast with this. We have the boys coming in, doing these podcasts and stuff too. We still have so much more content we're bringing you guys.
Oh, fuck.
Can't begin to describe. I mean, you've seen a little bit of a lot of it now at this point. You saw the Chef's Corner. We saw you guys are loving that. We've got our NHL franchise. We've got baseball going right now. South of the border again. Mad props to you guys. We see you guys are loving that stuff.
Yep.
So, of course, we got football. Of course, we got football.
It's coming.
It's coming, guys. Madden, obviously, is usually an August drop. We're going to be jumping on that. And we got different games coming out, guys. We got Farpoint coming out next week or 2 weeks from now. Little VR experience. That's coming up. We've been working out some technical difficulties to get that for you guys. And,
stay tuned.
It's nothing but good things, guys.
Yeah.
You know what to do.
It's a draft. Keep it drafted.